Hi, my name's Luke, and this is a story about what happened to me and my friends on a camping trip 3 years ago when we were all between about 14 and 15. Since it was the beginning of summer vacation, my friend Lucy had this idea to go camping with her other friends, Katie and Maurice. As I was quite the risk taker, I added to the idea, saying that we should start our trip in the woods at 1 a.m., just for a bit of fun. I told Lucy, what's the worst that could happen? Now I look back and think how bad it could have been. But Maurice and Katie organized the supplies, 2 small tents, some snacks, and other camping equipment from my garage, while Lucy and I went out into the forest early to try to find a spot to set up. We'd been walking for a while when I suddenly heard this rustle in the bushes. I looked over at Lucy with a confused glare. "What was that?" Lucy asked me. I obviously had no clue, but being the cool guy that I thought I was, I peeked over the bush slowly. What I saw will haunt me for the rest of my life. I immediately shouted in horror, trying to cover my mouth while staring at what looked like a middle-aged man eating a dead deer. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but this man was no hunter. This deer corpse was basically rotting, as you could see its ribs sticking out, and he was gnawing at it like a dog. It was a gruesome sight. Suddenly, this man turns around, saw me and Lucy, and immediately ran away on all 4s, leaving this deer carcass on the ground. Lucy immediately grabs me. We both run right back to meet Katie and Maurice, who were about halfway down our street with the camping supplies. Katie asked why we looked so shocked, but it took us a few minutes to be able to actually get the words out. The sight had been so blood-curdling. For some reason, Katie and Maurice didn't believe us. They still wanted to go camping, so, stupidly, we returned to the woods. We went at least to a different spot. Maurice and I began to set up this camp in this big, flat area with a lot of trees surrounding it. It seemed cool, isolated, as the trees blocked all the sunlight. Being teenagers, we thought it'd be fun. Everything was going well, actually. We each drank a couple of beers, even though we weren't allowed. Maurice had stolen them from his dad, so we were all absolutely wasted. After a while, we decided to head into our tents. Of course, I slept in the tent with my friend Maurice, and the 2 girls slept in the tent across from us. At around 3:15 a.m., I think, I awoke to this strange noise. I was about to awake Maurice when I suddenly remembered that creepy man from earlier. I felt this chill shoot down my spine as I slowly unzipped the tent just enough to look through, but not enough for whoever was out there to notice. To my horror, I see this deer-eating man standing right outside my tent. To make matters worse, he was holding this small pocket knife. I unzipped the flap all the way, shouted loudly, and immediately punched him as hard as I could. Unfortunately, I was still wasted, and he managed to get a hold of me. He made this shallow cut right across my arm with that knife, but before he could do any more, fortunately, Maurice appeared and kicked him right in the crotch. The strange man let go of me, and I punched him multiple times until I knocked him out. Katie and Lucy tried to call the police, but there was no signal out where we were, of course. We grabbed our bags, leaving the tents and everything else behind, and just sprinted back to town. That night's mostly a blur at this point, but those are all the main points. Let's just say that if it wasn't for Maurice waking up right at that moment, me deciding to scream, you wouldn't be hearing this story right now.